Hello and welcome back to our 4-H Healthy Living program. Today we are going to be doing our nutrition activities. So you're going to want to grab your bag that says nutrition, and we are going to be making soup today. We're going to be making a barley lentil soup, and to help me with this is my friend Erica Benvenuti from the UConn FNET program. She is a registered dietitian, and she is going to help us out with our program today. First of all, let me talk a little bit about what's in our jar. So, these jars that you all received have the majority of the ingredients that you're going to need in order to make your soup today. So you're going to have a third of a cup of brown lentils and a third of a cup of red lentils. Erica, why are lentils so healthy for us?
Well, they are a power-packed food. They are filled with nutrients, and nutrients are ingredients that we need in our bodies to keep us healthy. So there is protein, there's fiber, there's iron, a ton of B vitamins. So they are just awesome food for everybody to be eating.
We also have a third of a cup of pearl barley. And barley, if I'm not mistaken, is a grain?
Absolutely. It's in another one of the food groups. It's the grain group. And again, it is high in iron and protein, and the fiber is awesome for our bodies to keep everything moving right along.
And finally, we have green split peas, a third of a cup. And this is obviously a vegetable.
Absolutely. Well, actually, the lentils and the split peas are considered vegetables and protein in the meat group, because the vegetable group, they have vitamin C and they have potassium and they have fiber, and in the meat group they have iron and protein. So either way, I like to consider them vegetables.
Awesome.
They're both, so they're
So
awesome.
also in our jar we have our spices. So we have our Italian seasoning. We have about a tablespoon of that in there. We have a teaspoon of garlic powder. And we have 2 teaspoons of chicken bouillon powder that will be spicing up our soup today. There are a few things that are in our soup that are not in our jar, however. Could you explain what those are?
Absolutely. So some things you probably already have at home already. We have vegetable oils. You can use olive oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, any oil that you might have. And if you don't have that, a cooking spray would work also. So
Could you use butter?
You could also use butter, yes, absolutely. So I'm going to put a little bit of this in our pan. It's supposed to be about a tablespoon, so I'm just going to eyeball that a little bit. And then we have some chopped up onion. So chopping it up really fine helps to start our soup. And we're going to add that right into our oil, which I have the pan going. Get that going.
Here it says,
if you don't have an onion, you could always use some granulated onion or onion powder. That would work also. We're going to use a can of diced tomatoes. So we're going to let that cook for a few minutes, for just a little bit, and give it a little stir around. And then, so you're going to need a can of diced tomatoes and also 8 cups of water. That's going to go in that.
Now I've heard people say we're sweating the onions. What does that mean?
Sweating them means they're going to soften a little bit so that they don't have that hard, crunchy bite. So we're going to let them soften up a little bit so they get a little clear looking. So they're not so white, they kind of get a little clear.
So you want them kind of looking a little translucent.
Absolutely.
And that's when you know that you're ready to add the other stuff.
Absolutely.
All right, awesome.
So these look like they're doing pretty good.
They do look good.
So I'm going to add in our can of diced tomatoes.
Now, do we drain the tomatoes?
Oh no, we want that liquid in there also. So
Okay.
we're going to leave that right in it. Good point. And we're going to add all the ingredients that we have in our jar. So
All right.
our split peas, lentils, our barley. Now it goes all right in there. Good job, Mark. Who could you done this before?
I've had a little experience with this. My wife likes it when I cook at home.
Oh, I'm going to put these 8 cups of water in because all the lentils and the barley are going to need water. Plus, it is soup. We want it to be soup-like.
We're going to add our
Seasonings in there.
garlic powder, our Italian seasoning.
Absolutely.
This is a half a teaspoon, so we're going to do 2 of those. And then we're going to do a couple of teaspoons of our...
So this is powdered chicken bouillon. If you have bouillon cubes, that would also work. And if
In their case, they don't need to worry about it, though, because it's all in their jar.
absolutely.
But if they want to make the recipe in the future, they could use bouillon cubes instead of powdered bouillon.
Yep, absolutely.
We just use the powdered bouillon because it fits in the jar better than the bouillon cubes.
I'm giving it a little stir so everything is mixed together and not in a big clump. And then I'm going to turn this all the way up to high and put the cover on.
We have the cover.
It's right over there. So we will do that in a moment. And we're going to put it on high until it boils where the bubbles are popping on the surface. And then we're going to turn it down to low, in between low and medium. So that it's kind of, there's bubbles, but they're not too active. and we're gonna let it cook for about 45 minutes. You wanna put a timer on. Always good to put a timer in to remind yourself. And then every 5 minutes or 10 minutes, stir it a little bit, and then and by 45 minutes, everything should be softened and ready to eat.
Awesome. In our kit also this week is our weekly career connection card. We try to find a career that goes with each week's activity, and this week is a dietitian. Could you tell us a little bit about what a dietitian does?
Oh, absolutely. A dietitian, we work with food in all areas, from cooking to helping people make healthier choices and avoid having health issues later in life. I like to be adventurous with eating and trying new things, because we have so many opportunities. So I help guide people with all their food choices and have them live the best life they can.
Now, if I wanted to make this soup a little heartier, like say maybe I wanted to add some meat to it or anything like that, am I allowed to do that?
Absolutely. You could use some chicken, some lean pork, some lean beef. You could put in, I don't know, any other things you usually like in your soup?
Maybe some shrimp or some seafood?
You could put that. And that would probably be a later thing you'd want to add in later. But yeah, lots of soups you can add in different kinds of meats.
Now, if I was going to add meat, would I cook the meat first and then add it to the soup cooked, or?
It depends. If you have something, sometimes you want to brown the meat because it gives it more flavor, like if you're using ground beef or ground chicken or ground pork. Chicken, sometimes you can put it right in there, but you want to make sure it's all the way cooked to 165 degrees. That's one of the things keeping food safe, is making sure it cooks all the way through. But if you had it boiling in there for 45 minutes, your chicken's going to be cooked.
Okay, awesome. What kind of other types of, can I swap out, like, if I'm not a big lentil lover, can I swap out for a bean or something different?
If you're going to use dried beans, there's more of a process to them. You have to soak them overnight, and then drain them, and then boil them before you can use them in a soup.
Okay.
So it's more like
So I
a
can't
two-day
just
process.
throw them in like I do with
No,
these?
these ones here are very fast cooking beans, 45 minutes, and they're all done, they're ready to go. You can also use canned beans. Canned beans are a great choice because they're already cooked and everything. You might want to rinse them off to get some of that starchy liquid off, but they would be a great addition if you don't have lentils or they aren't your favorite.
I use canned beans a lot in my chili, and I love doing that. So
Great choice.
that's always a good time. Well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to let this cook down, and then we're going to check back, because I know you don't want to hang out with us for the next 45 minutes. But we are back, and our soup is cooked, and we are super excited to try it. All I know is my end of the building smells really good right now.
Well, here we go. It's been about 45 minutes on a simmer, so there's like some. And here we go. It looks pretty good. Are you going to give it a try?
I am going to give it a try.
Like it's a little hot.
Looks delicious. Yes, we're definitely going to have to blow on it a little bit.
Now, some other things I was thinking we can add in. You can always add extra vegetables, like some spinach,
I was thinking about that also after we had finished adding all the stuff into this one.
like zucchini and summer squash. Any kind, those would work good. And I was also thinking of other additional meats if somebody wanted extra protein in it, like a turkey sausage, Italian sausage,
nice.
or smoked sausage would work really well. So.
Now, what are good vegetables to get like this time of the year? Like you mentioned zucchini and summer squash, which are great, but they're more seasonal?
They are seasonal, but frozen vegetables are also a good choice because usually they're picked and frozen right when they are at the peak of their ripeness. But around this time of year, it's usually root vegetables, mushrooms, like potatoes and sweet potatoes and turnips and parsnips, and all those are the kind of vegetables that
Better
are
be
seasonal
good with some
nowadays.
sweet potatoes in there.
Absolutely.
All right, well, we're going to give this a try.
And then
It's hot, but it is really good.
yeah, and then when you taste it, to your preference, you can add a little more salt and pepper if you prefer. You could sprinkle a little bit of Parmesan cheese if you like. That always adds a little extra flavor.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Erica. It was a pleasure having you helping us out this week. We are super excited to try our soup. I hope you have a great time trying your soup. Let us know what you've added to your soup to make it special for you and what you like to eat that's healthy and nutritious. Until next time, this is UConn 4-H Healthy Living.